Hello, everyone. I'm Kim Aline, and today is Tuesday, July 11th. You are now watching Open, a program that brings the Bronx and New York City straight to you. Don't forget to stay connected with us via social media at BronxNet TV. New York Senator Luis Sepulveda successfully passed a bill in the New York State Senate that enables New York to enter into driver's license reciprocity agreements with other states, countries, provinces, or territories. Senator Sepulveda joins me now to discuss this new bill and what it means for New York drivers. Thank you so much for joining me.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Could you talk
Mhm,
about Bill
mhm.
S4329A? I think like for somebody like me who doesn't drive, this may be like completely new, but so can you talk about that, and what it means?
Sure. So, if you are visiting the United States from a foreign country, let's say, or from another state, you're permitted to drive here. Uh, as a tourist, while you're here as a tourist for a short-term period, you can drive. However, if you want to remain here, remain as a resident, you have to go through the entire process of getting a license, start from scratch, with one exception, and that is Canada. So any Canadian who establishes residence in the state of New York just has to exchange the license. You don't have the same process that you do when you obtain a license for the first time. What the bill does is it opens up to the entire world to reach into an agreement, a reciprocity agreement with the Department of Motor Vehicles of New York State. And obviously, the two country or the two jurisdictions, New York State and whatever country, they have to agree on the principle how they're going to work out the exchange of licenses. What the bill does is gives the same opportunity that Canadians get to everywhere. The impetus of the bill basically came from the Dominican Republic and Taiwan. I've met with the Taiwanese ambassador a few times, and in the Dominican Republic, there's a senator in a particular province. Their name is Alexis Victoria Jeb. We also got help from two assembly persons, Assemblyman Phil Ramos from Long Island and Manny de los Santos from Washington Heights, and a couple of committee chairs because it was a long process to get it through. But now what happens is that anyone who wants to become a resident, get a license, and there's a reciprocity agreement with any country, they can now do it by simply exchanging licenses.
Okay, I'm so glad that you clarified that because I think for myself, I was kind of wondering like, what does this mean, or
Mhm.
like what is it supposed to do? But it seems like it's actually like kind of like making it easier for people from other countries and kind of leveling the playing field. Would you say that's
Oh
correct?
no, it absolutely does, and remember that reciprocity is the condition for you to avail yourself of the benefit of this. But also, if you want to go, let's say, for example, we have a reciprocity agreement with the Dominican Republic or any other country, Colombia, or you can now go if you wanted to remain as a resident there, exchange your license. So it creates this synergy and potential economic development in certain areas, and that was one of the big movements why we got together and did this. But it took several years. The first discussion started several years ago, but when officials from the Dominican Republic got involved, that's when it really got the strength to finally make it a bill. And we're just waiting for the governor to sign the bill.
Now, how does this passage of the bill signify a step towards safety just for everybody who's driving?
Well, remember that uh, any reciprocity agreement, both for us here in the state, is the Department of Motor Vehicles. In other countries, they have their own similar agencies. The Dominican Republic has a place called Entrant, which is their version of DMV. The leaders of both agencies will get together and determine what the requirements are. Obviously, people have to know the laws here in New York State, and you have to know the laws of any jurisdiction where you want to do the exchange. So there'll be a time period where they develop the requirements and so forth so that we can make this a reality.
Now, how does this bill commit to a more inclusive and supportive environment for all residents and visitors?
Well, I mean, I don't understand why Canadians had this benefit, not everyone all over the world. Certainly, Latin American countries, you have a lot of people from Latin America here that are a bigger presence in the city of New York, and this would be much more helpful to them than, say, other jurisdictions. And not to take away from the Canadian government, but we should all be on the same playing field.
Now, how does it support economic growth?
Well, for one thing, is that people that want to be residents here, if they want to get jobs, if they want to travel distances once they're residents here, it makes it a lot easier. Sometimes getting a driver's license may be a burdensome process where they may miss a job opportunity. We see a lot of people coming from other countries coming here to provide. We just had a whole set of teachers from the Dominican Republic who came here to provide academic teachings to children that have come here initially that don't speak English. They may be English language learners.
Mhm.
So these individuals that benefit from this license can travel far and above places where they normally can't, and so it'll help them. And also the same with those of us who want to go to another jurisdiction and you know be professionals, live there for a few. We can now get a license, and it's a lot less onerous and burdensome for individuals that want to do the exchange.
Right, and we also did a segment a few months back now that where we learned that so many like taxi cab drivers
Correct.
and Uber drivers come from different areas, and I
Hmm.
can imagine like this would only help them and like provide more for them. Can you talk about
Oh
the
no,
importance of that?
oh absolutely. I mean, a lot of our immigrants come from, say, from Latin American countries, from Africa. A lot of the Uber drivers are foreigners,
Hmm.
and many of them may have a difficult time obtaining that license. So we hope that they come from a jurisdiction that has entered into a reciprocity agreement with the state of New York, because it'll make it easier for them to work and Uber can get more drivers, and Uber's in favor. Actually, most of the ride sharing programs are very supportive of this bill.
Okay, so that kind of would be my next question.
Yeah.
Like, what has the support or the the response been like?
Oh, it's been, I just came back from the Dominican Republic 2 days ago. And a big part of the conversation there in the local newspapers and local media was about the reciprocity bill. They're very excited about it.
Mhm.
And in Taiwan as well. I got a call from the ambassador because there's something that had been attempted for some time now. So they're very excited about it. So the response has been much better than I ever imagined it would have been.
So, I'm curious to know about the relationship with Taiwan and their part in this because I think for me, we're here in the Bronx. I'm so used to like having the Dominican community here in the
Mhm.
Bronx, but I'm curious to know like how did that relationship with Taiwan begin, and the partnership for
Oh,
this.
absolutely. Well, the my relationship with the Taiwanese government was when I was an assemblyman. I was an assemblyman for 5 years, beginning in 2013. And the Taiwanese government does something that's very productive, and that's every year they have delegation trips of elected officials from the legislature and the city council visit their country and to learn about their customs, their laws. Remember that Taiwan is a relatively new democracy, although it's the acceleration of democracy there is incredible. The leading figures are women up there, president, the vice president, opposition. Um, so the Taiwanese government, we develop a relationship with them, and there's an organization called TICO here, um, because there's not official recognition of Taiwan because of the issue with mainland China.
Mm.
But their TICO, the ambassador, spoke to us about the fact that they, who are, by the way, the seventh largest trading partner with New York State, as a country, as a state, that they needed this reciprocity bill for people from Taiwan that wanted to become residents here. So the synergy was perfect. So we got the big support of the Taiwanese government and the Dominican government.
That's amazing. Now, I want to know, is there anything that New York drivers need to know about this bill that may affect them, or will it affect them in any way?
No impact on current drivers. This is going to expand the number of people that can drive in New York State. I don't know if you recall that I was the sponsor of the Green Light Bill, which is a law that allows undocumented immigrants to obtain a driver's license here in New York State. And when that bill passed, everybody said, "Oh, they're going to use it to vote, you know, illegally and all this other, doomsday um, things that they anticipated were going to happen." But what it's done is helped over a quarter of a million people to be able to obtain licenses, to be able to go to the police departments when they're victims of crime, because now they can't delve beyond what's on the license. And so what we've been focusing on is expanding the ability of people to get licenses here in New York State. And I can tell you that the automobile insurance loves it because now they have more potential clients. So it's a win-win for everybody.
And would you say that's kind of like what inspired the creation of this bill?
I think the inspiration was from the leaders of foreign countries, of these two countries, that saw a need for it, and our relationship with those governments. I've been to Taiwan. I've met with the leadership there. I go to the Dominican Republic quite often and spoke with the president about this bill, and he was very enthusiastic about it. So we're very happy with what we've accomplished.
Now, when can people expect to see this go into effect?
The bill just recently passed the assembly. The assembly just finished session a couple of days ago because they had to come back. Between now and the end of December is when we submit bills to the governor to sign. She has 30 days to sign or not. If she doesn't sign it, then it becomes law. What I'm doing now behind the scenes is pushing so that my bill doesn't go on the back burner and it hits the governor's office as soon as possible. So hopefully We have until December, but I'm hoping that before the end of the summer, the governor has signed the bill.
That's amazing. And it seemed like a lot of the work that you do, I don't want to say focus, but there is a highlight on, people from different countries and
Mhm.
making sure that they feel a part of this community. What do you have to say to that and like why that's so important in the work that you do?
Well, the Bronx is a very diverse county, and we have people from all walks of life, from different countries. We have a lot of people from Africa, from Senegal, from Gambia. We have a lot of people from Central America. There are a large Mexican emerging community here. We have people from Bangladesh, and to me, that cultural, the diversity has always been critically important to me. I think the diversity is critically important to the development and education of our children. To know, I went to Bangladesh and met with the leadership there and learned a lot about that country, and it helps me understand my constituents here. But it's very important to me. Diversity is one of the biggest issues for me on everything. I'm the chair of the diversity of judicial diversity for the New York State Senate, because I think again we should have representation, equal representation in local government that reflects the population of people that live here. And so that's something that's very important to me.
Well, Senator Sepulveda, thank you so much for joining us and having this discussion.
Thank you very much for allowing me, and I hope to be back soon.
Of course. To keep up with all the work that Senator Sepulveda does, please go to his website, which you can find on the screen below, or follow him on Twitter at SEN Sepulveda. Don't go away, we'll be back with more Open right after this.